attributed my good luck to Eleni. As we entered the city, we pondered whether we would have enough time to stop at Sweetwater's, our favorite place to relax, after our appointments. I dropped my wife off for an appointment on 60th Street between Lexington and Park Avenues. I left my car, a rather elegant one, in a safe parking lot and stood on the corner of 60th Street and Park Avenue to catch a taxi. I felt quite relaxed since I had an hour until my next engagement. At 5:00 p.m., I had to meet a photographer who would take the picture for the cover of this book on the roof of an apartment building in East Harlem on 115th Street and First Avenue. I waited and waited and waited. After the 9th taxi refused me, my blood began to boil. The 10th taxi refused me and stopped for a kind, well-dressed, smiling female fellow citizen of European descent. As she stepped in the cab, she said, "This is really ridiculous, is it not?" Ugly racial memories of the past flashed through my mind. Years ago, while driving from New York to teach at Williams College, I was stopped on fake charges of trafficking cocaine. When I told the police officer I was a professor of religion, he replied, "Yeah, and I'm the flying nun. Let's go, nigga." I was stopped 3 times in my first 10 days in Princeton for driving too slowly on a residential street with a speed limit of 25 miles per hour. And my son Clifton already has similar memories at the tender age of 15. Needless to say, these incidents are dwarfed by those like Rodney King's beating or the abuse of black targets of the FBI's COINTELPRO efforts in the 1960s and 1970s. Yet the memories cut like a merciless knife at my soul as I waited on that God-forsaken corner. Finally, I decided to take the subway. I walked 3 long avenues, arrived late, and had to catch my moral breath as I approached the white male photographer and white female cover designer. I chose not to dwell on this everyday experience of black New Yorkers, and we had a good time talking, posing, and taking pictures. When I picked up Eleni, I told her of my hours spent on the corner, my tardy arrival, and the expertise and enthusiasm of the photographer and designer. We talked about our fantasy of moving to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, her home and the site of the most pleasant event of my life. I toyed with the idea of attending the last day of the revival led by the Reverend Jeremiah Wright of Chicago at Reverend Wyatt T. Walker's Canaan Baptist Church of Christ in Harlem, but we settled for Sweetwater's, and the ugly memories faded in the face of soulful music, soulful food, and soulful folk. As we rode back to Princeton above the soothing black music of Van Harper's Quiet Storm on WBLS 107.5 on the radio dial, we talked about what race matters have meant to the American past and how much race matters in the American present. And I vowed to be more vigilant and virtuous in my efforts to meet the formidable challenges posed by Plato and Du Bois. For me, it is an urgent question of power and morality. For others, it is an everyday matter of life and death.
Race Matters in 21st Century America. A new introduction for the 25th anniversary edition. We live in one of the darkest moments in American history. A bleak time of spiritual blackout and imperial meltdown. 25 years ago, I tried to lay bare the realities and challenges to American democracy in light of the doings and sufferings of black people. And I reached heartbreaking yet hopeful conclusions. In our time, the heartbreak cuts much deeper, and the hope has nearly run out. The nihilism in black America has become a massive spiritual blackout in America. The undeniable collapse of integrity, honesty, and decency in our public and private life has fueled even more racial hatred and contempt. The rule of big money and its attendant culture of cupidity